budget friends, it's Steph with Stefsonabudget. Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to do a couple different things. We're going to take a peek at what goals we had set for 2024 and how we did. We're going to take a look at what our 2025 goals are going to be for this year. And then we're also going to do a debt update so we have an idea of where we're going to be starting the new year as far as our debt payoff journey goes. I haven't done, I had to go back and look, you guys. It's been kind of forever. I will confess to kind of falling off our debt focus the second half of the year, though we were still definitely, paying off debt, maybe not as aggressively as the first half of the year. So I haven't done a debt update on my channel. I went back and looked. I think my last one was in May or June. So it's been a good while, you guys. So let's go ahead. We're going to jump into the budget binder and take a look. We're going to start right off the bat looking at our goals, and let me just make sure you guys can see everything. So let's start with our 2024 goals, and then we'll jump into 2025. So in 2024, I had some debt goals, savings goals, and some Stefsonabudget goals. For our debt in 2024, we wanted to pay off our Discover card, which was sitting at $7,114, which I am happy to report that we did, I want to say by May or June of last year. So we hit that goal. Our second debt goal was to pay off my student loans by the end of the year, and that amount sat at $6,599. Well, we did not hit that goal. I didn't even focus on student loans because last year, while we were paying off debt, we also added more debt. If you've been following my channel for a while, at the very beginning of last year, we needed to purchase a double wall oven. Our oven went out and we didn't have home savings for that. And I didn't want to empty our emergency fund to pay for that because one, it wouldn't cover it entirely, and two, we had 0% financing on that, and we got that paid off in just a couple of months, you guys. So we were able to do that. It was about, I can't quite remember, between $3,000 and $4,000, somewhere in there. We also added new tax debt that we were working on. So we shifted focus from the student loan to credit card debt that was at 0% that needed to get completed. So we didn't quite hit that one, but we did, focus on debt. Again, maybe not as aggressively in the second half of the year as we did in the first half. Frankly, it's kind of all a blur, you guys. Maybe because I got away from kind of tracking where I was at with my debt, and so it's not as easy for me to recall. So that is definitely something going into this year. I want to make sure that I'm looking at my debt at the end of every month again and seeing the progress or not the progress that we're making so that we can adjust when and where we need to so that we are able to accomplish our goals. As far as savings goals went last year, I wanted to increase my 401k contribution in March. That's typically when, if we get a pay raise, I'll see it in March. And so I had set a goal with that increase to increase my 401k contribution, which I did. We set a goal to save $1,000 in our emergency fund last year, and hopefully you guys caught that video, but we definitely did, and then some. So we put over $1,000 into our current emergency fund, which is great. Let me grab these markers and we'll check them off. All right, so we hit that. We also set a goal to save $2,000 for Christmas. I have to save for Christmas year-round, you guys. And so I kind of try to do that per paycheck, and we were able to save $2,000 plus for Christmas. So we hit that goal. I also wanted to complete 2 categories in my month ahead binder, and we were actually able to complete 4, you guys. So that is awesome. So we definitely hit that goal plus some. Now, as far as savings goals, we hit the mark 100%. So I am super excited about that. And I would say that looking at this, that probably reflects correctly, because I would say this year is, or last year, 2024, was kind of the first year where we went from 100% debt to more of a little bit more of a balance between debt and savings. Obviously more towards debt, but we did increase, savings a little bit. So I would say that reflects here. And then as far as Steph's on a budget between my Etsy and my YouTube and my Ko-fi, I had a goal to hit 2,000 subscribers by December. You guys blew that out of the water. We actually hit 5,000 plus subscribers throughout this year. So I am so incredibly grateful for each of you being here and supporting me on this journey. I have enjoyed following along with all of you and your comments. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, whether you're a subscriber or not, really. If you're just somebody who pops in from time to time and catches a video, that's wonderful too. I also had a goal to add 5 new Etsy listings each month, and we definitely did that, and then some on some months. So that was really exciting to see the Etsy shop offerings grow. Some of them have been removed, but yeah, it was just a really fun year as far as YouTube and Etsy and everything goes. And of course, I started my YouTube channel for my own accountability and to just kind of share with anybody out there who might relate to, where we're at financially. I know a lot of us are on a debt-free journey, and it's so motivating to have the community support to keep us going, because paying off debt is freaking hard, you guys. So, YouTube has been really exciting and tons of fun. Now, it does come with a lot of work. So, I will say probably the second half of the year, I still work a full-time 40+ hour work week as a nurse, you guys. And then I do this on the side, and I'm working a lot. I'm going to be honest and transparent. I'm working a lot. I finish my day job and then I go to this job, but this is a hobby job, which is really nice. I guess the pay is just kind of a benefit, but let's look at our 2025 goals, you guys. So I broke them down in the same way. So for our debt goals this year, I'm kind of getting ahead because we haven't quite done the debt update, but we will. So I have a goal to pay off our City 1, City 2 cards by 4/1 of 25, and combined total, those are $3,550. So we're going to hit these two kind of in the first quarter of the year. My second debt goal is to pay off student loans. They are going this year, you guys. I hope I don't have to shift, but I do not want to carry these into 2026. And our balance now sits at $5,668 there. And then I also want to pay down our last credit card to a balance of $2,000 or under by the end of 2025. So those are my debt goals for this year. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there because we're going to do a debt update. Savings goals, again, we're going to kind of balance debt and savings. This year, I would like to save $1,600 to our emergency fund, which breaks down to $64 per pay period. I would like to save $3,000 for Christmas. Our family is just growing, you guys, and so it's just time to kind of increase that so that we're not adding debt for Christmas. I would like to fully fund 2 month ahead categories. Now, I kept this goal the same, and you might be asking, if I finished 4 last year, why would I bump it up to 2? I keep this very low income, you guys. I put $33 a paycheck to my month ahead. It's not a lot, and so it grows slowly, but those small amounts do add up with time. And now I'm getting into the categories that are higher expenses. So right now I'm working on like my electricity, which is $300 is kind of what I'm trying to set for my month ahead. And then after that, the envelopes just grow in the amount that I need. So that's the reason for only 2 this year. I do want to save $1,000 in my back to school sinking fund, and so I would need that by roughly July 31st. My girls go back to school early August. So last year we were significantly short on this, and I don't want to be in that same position again. So I don't think we'll need all of that. And if we have extra, great. Again, I would like to increase my 401k contribution in March, pending I get, a pay raise. So we'll see how that goes. For my Steps on a Budget goals, I am at 5,000 subscribers, so I set a goal for 7,000 subscribers by the end of this year, as well as 60 members in my Ko-fi for 2025. And then I would like to keep the same goal of adding the 5 new Etsy listings per month. And I didn't increase this because, you guys, it takes a lot of time, like I said. So, as much as I enjoy it, I do need some downtime as well. So I'm going to leave that as the same because it seemed doable. So that's what I'm looking at for this year's goals. I'm really excited to see how it goes. I feel really good about where we ended off for our goals in 2024. We just had a miss by 1, not too bad. And we just shifted priorities a little bit is all. So let's go ahead and flip into the budget binder here. We are going to get into a debt update or a look at what we're going to be starting 2025 with as far as our debt goes. So I normally, in the past, you guys have seen me use the, as far as budgeting goes, I use the Budget Mom printable workbook, and she has a debt tracker in there. I am going to switch it up a little bit. I purchased this little kind of set off of Etsy, and I'm so sorry, guys, I cannot remember the shop. I will try to remember to link it down below if this looks like something you'd like. And the reason I chose this one is because as much as I like the Budget Mom one, in fact, I think I'm going to need to incorporate it in because I like to see those big numbers, or maybe I'll create something on my own. But I really liked this sheet because it's going to give me every month this will just move, month to month in my binder. And I can easily, on one sheet, look at where I started with a debt in January and where I might be in May with that same exact debt. So I'm kind of excited to see on one page the overall progress. So that's why I chose this one. It's definitely not going to hit all of my needs as far as what I like to see for debt payoff, but I definitely liked that. It also came with this, which I think is very similar. The only difference is, you can get more information here as far as, the balance, your due date, your minimum payment, your interest rate. You can set a goal date for when you want to pay it off. And then it also gives you the monthly, payoff there. But these boxes are pretty small and I'm a pretty big writer. So I put it in here. I'm still deciding if I'm going to use this one or not. And then the third sheet it came with was this debt snowball. I like some aspects of this and some I would have liked something different. So again, probably would have been better creating, but I did like this, and the cutesy coloring is super fun too. But this is kind of going to be, this will be for one debt, right? So what debt are we focusing on? The due date is kind of a weird thing here, but mostly I think I'm just going to put the date that I paid, how much I paid, and what the ending balance is. So you get kind of a tracker, and then you also get kind of this, I think it looks like a thermometer. I don't know I don't know what to call it, but you can kind of track your progress and color in to get there. So I think this will be fun. So we'll do a different one for each debt. But let's go ahead and let's fill out this one together, and we can kind of, let's do this one. I'm trying to decide, you guys. Like I said, now that I'm kind of getting into this, I'm finding where I'm going to need some different information that's not on any of these forms. I hope that makes sense. So, all right, let's start by just listing out our debts. And I'm going to just give you guys a tilt. I'm sorry, I know that's kind of a pain. And I will zoom you in as well. But let's see what we're going to be starting the year at. So this is one aspect too. It's got, debt 1 and through 7. I kind of wish they were just blank and I could write in what the debt is. So, all right, sorry guys, I'm just thinking, not out loud clearly, just trying to think of how I envision this looking. So let's just start with debt 1. The first debt that we're going to be focusing on is, I guess I'm going to just write them up here. So this, our current debt snowball or debt that we're working on is our City 2 card. And we are going to start 2025 with a balance of $1,817.73. Our current minimum payment is $150. Now, that is not the actual minimum payment because you guys know as you pay down a credit card balance, your minimum payment changes. But that was the original minimum payment we had. And when we last looked at that in our debt update on the channel in May, I think this was at almost, I can't remember exactly, you guys, I'm sorry. It was either like $5,500 to $6,000. So we have come a long way in the second half of the year as far as paying off that card goes, which is great. This is where we're going to start 2025. So we're going to keep our minimum payment that was originally $150. That's what we've been paying all year. The interest rate on this, I believe, is 27%. Although it does have a 0% interest, but that runs out at the end of this month. I don't think we're going to get this paid off before then, but we will have hopefully a significant chunk of it gone. So when it does start accruing interest, it's going to be very little. So that is where we're starting for City 2. Our next debt that we're going to focus on is our City 1. And its current balance is $1,732.48. Now, this was down to 0 during 2024, but I did use this card for an emergency vet visit, and we have also had kind of some slide back, if you will, of just kind of frivolous spending also. So not all of this is the vet. A good chunk of it is, but some of it was just bad spending on our part too that we have hopefully wrapped up. So that is where we've set ourselves up for 2025. The minimum payment on this, I have currently at $100. The new statement hasn't come out, so that might differ a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. If it's more, we'll make the adjustment. If it's less, it'll stay at the $100 because that's what we're currently paying. So I hope that makes sense. So first we're going to tackle this one and then this one. The third debt we're going to focus on is going to be the student loan. I really don't want this to follow us into 2026, you guys. Let's see, my student loan balance is $5,668.81. The minimum payment on this debt is it's $94 and some change, so $95. I've always made a minimum payment of $100 on it, so it'll stay the minimum payment of $100. And I have 4 different student loans lumped into there, and they are all but one are 3%, and then I have one that is 6%. And I do have my payment set up where anything above the minimum or any extra payments goes towards the balance of the higher percentage loan. So that one actually has one of the lower amounts as far as how they're broken down into now. But that's what we're going to be looking to pay off for our student loans. And again, I would like for these, so my goal is April for these 2, and my goal is by end of August for all 3. So between May, June, July, and August, I'm trying to give myself 4 months to get this student loan paid off. That's pretty aggressive, you guys. So fingers crossed we'll be able to do it. All right, next up, so this is going to be something new, though it is not new debt. we've had tax debt that we've been paying off. You guys see me budget like Chase and a couple other things that is tax debt. Well, I have moved all that into one balance on our Wells Fargo card. And so the reason I did that is because some of those promotions were running out, and the fees and interest and everything from the IRS was just kind of not making that balance move. I felt like the needle just wasn't moving at all. So we had a couple of 0% cards, paid the IRS, and then we've just been working on the cards. So this one sits at 0% until October of 2026, you guys. So we've got a good amount of time. And like I said, we've combined a couple of things. And so we're looking at what we have left is $7,579. And my goal is to get this down to at least $2,000 or under by the end of the year. So hopefully, if we look at all of this combined, so as far as our last couple of credit cards and my student loan, let's add that amount up together really quick, you guys. I've been using my other calculator all morning, and so when I switch over to this one, it's like so different. I can't seem to hit the right buttons. Okay, and then 7579. So we're looking at a total of almost $17,000. So $16,798 that we're hoping to get rid of this year, minus about $2,000. So that's about $15,000, which is about what we average as far as debt payoff outside of our minimum payments. So I think that's doable as long as we can stay on track. It's definitely a bit of a stretch goal. But you know, I'm going to just really try to push myself. I would like to go into 2026 with just our vehicle and home debt left. So that's kind of where I'm coming from as far as the plan goes. Okay, so we do have two other debts here. All right, sorry guys. Still kind of have this cough that comes you know, out of nowhere from time to time. So we do have two vehicles that we are paying off. Obviously these are not priority. We're just making the minimum payments. You know, everybody has their opinion when it comes to vehicle debts. Please keep in mind that everybody's situation is different. Some people live in a small town where maybe they drive 5 minutes everywhere they need to go every day. I live in a larger city where sometimes it takes me 30 minutes one way to get to a grocery store, depending on, you know, where I'm going in traffic and stuff. Now, that's kind of an exaggeration. I definitely have a grocery store closer, but, you know, it's just kind of to make a point that everybody's situation is different. And so everybody's vehicle needs are going to be different. So, you know, I personally, vehicle debt doesn't really bother me that much. That might be like nails on the chalkboard to you. Does that mean I want vehicle debt? Absolutely not. I want it to go away. I'd like to have no car payment. And we were there at one point. But we did have an accident 2.5 years ago that totaled out a vehicle that we had. And so we ended up with 2 new vehicles because we were kind of a one vehicle family for a while. And when I tell you, I will never, ever be a one vehicle family again until I have no kids in this house, I mean it. It was like insufferable, you guys, the stress and the amount of stuff that put on my plate alone because I work from home. My husband goes into work. He works in a hospital setting. It's not like he can just leave patients and go and pick up the girls or, you know, go take me where I need to go, that sort of thing. And I travel time to time from work too. So when I say one vehicle doesn't work for us, I truly mean it. And I will never be in that situation again, knock on wood. So that's why we have 2 vehicles. So just kind of a little perspective before anybody wants to get super judgy. But my vehicle is the Subaru, and we owe $21,700 $689.26, which is really good. That's come down quite a bit this year. We're seeing less and less going towards interest. My husband's truck, the Tacoma, is at $49,084.76. So those are our vehicles. Obviously, we've got most of our debt is in our vehicles, so we've got quite a ways to go for those, and they're just not the priority. I will give you guys kind of a heads up that we are looking to refinance this vehicle, and it will go to my daughter who's in high school that I'm currently sharing this vehicle with. And sharing a vehicle with my teenage daughter who works in fast food is horrifying, to say the least. But we're looking to refinance this and have a much smaller payment for her, and then she would take over the payments because she does work, and that would be her vehicle, and then I would of course need to move into another vehicle. So there's potential for this one to go away and something different to pop up. We're definitely not there yet, but it's something we've been heavily discussing, so it could potentially change as we go through the year. All right, let's add up this all together. Ooh, sorry for that noise. So we're going to do January 1st, 25 total. And this is what I mean by, I'd like to have a sheet. Maybe I'll just create something where it's got like the totals month to month, so I can see, you know, in January we had this, in February we're at this. So I'll probably do something like that since this didn't have anything along those lines. Let me, sorry for switching that around. So let's go ahead and add all of this up together and see what our total number is going to be starting at. Okay, so our starting debt for 2025 is going to be $87,672.04, you guys. I can tell you in 2024, we started with over $103,000 in debt. Plus we added new tax debt and our ovens. So we added about $7,000 more in debt. So we were kind of at 110 at some point throughout the year, and now we've got it down to 87. So if I just do the 103, and it obviously wasn't exactly 103, it was a little bit over, we were down $15,327 for last year. So not, like I said, not our best year, but we have eliminated quite a few debts. We're down to 6 now, which is really good. So, you know, any progress in the negative to me is progress. So, you know, $15,000 is definitely nothing to sneeze at for sure. All right, guys, that is where we're going to be starting in January. I'm going to make a commitment to myself and to my channel to be more consistent at tracking my monthly debt payoff in 2025, because I am excited to see that we are hitting the milestones and goals that we've kind of set for ourselves. But that's going to do it. Let me kind of close up the binder. Let me know what you guys think. If you have, I'm sure so many of you are kind of in the same boat. If you have a debt tracker that you like, I'd love to hear your recommendations so I can check them out, because there are some things I definitely want to tweak here. But I do find this, I love this page, super cute. I love having the overall picture in one spot month to month, which I think is going to be great. But all right, friends, I am rambling at this point, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button to stick around so you can see if we hit our goals that we've set, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.